Hello, I'm Daniela. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to slow stitch a little shaker card. I make little teeny cards about the size of playing cards or greeting cards, and I make a little shaker element. This is just a little element with a clear front with something filled with confetti or beads or buttons. It's kind of interactive, it's very colorful and enjoyable. I use heart confetti. You can make your own confetti, or you can use a combination of things that you collect around your house. Beads and sprinkles and that type of thing. So let's get started.
So I found this little confetti in the Valentine's section at one of the stores. I think it was Hobby Lobby that I shop at. It's just really teeny little hearts. If you don't have these, you don't need to get them. You can make your own confetti with a hole punch. I'll show you a variation of that on the end. You can add little beads, or if you have these or something like these would be great. The next thing you'll need is your fabric for your background and for the overlay. So I'm going to do a plaid background and then a white overlay. This is actually a patterned fabric. It's just white on white. My piece is going to be really small. It's going to be a little Valentine, about the size of a playing card. The last thing you need is some clear acetate or plastic. You can use packaging material. This is some clear plastic that you purchase by the yard at a fabric store, used to cover furniture, but you don't have to get that. You can use maybe a file folder that's clear plastic, or a page protector, or some packaging, as I said, or even a plastic bag, as in a little lunch bag. The clear ones would work beautifully. So the first thing I want to do is create my background piece. I have my little batting cut to the size that I want, and now I'm just going to cover it with this fabric. You can also cover the back after it's all stitched together, but I'm just going to quickly stitch around all the sides of this piece so I have a little background to work with. So once that's stitched all the way around, that's the back for now, I want to add my top piece. Now I can wrap my top piece all the way around if I want, or I'm just going to cut it to the size of this piece here. And I'm going to leave the raw edges. I don't mind the raw edges, but if you do, tuck them under or fold them over. So I have my little piece here, and I can play with the raw edges in a moment. But what I want to do is create the little window for the heart. It can be any shape you'd like, heart or circle. I'm going to do a heart, stick with the heart theme. So I just fold my piece in half, and then I just kind of eyeball. I want my window to be at maximum that size. So I'm just going to create that heart, leaving a good border around that I can stitch through, but enough of an opening that it's indicative of a heart. And so I have that there. The next thing I need to do is take my clear plastic, whatever I'm using, and make sure I cut it large enough for that heart and then some. So to do that, I take my heart, the inside of that image, and I'll just cut around that. Now I always start with far more than I'll use at the end. So now I have my window panel, my little pane here, and then my fabric. What I want to do is first start by stitching around the heart. This is to hold the clear plastic to the piece, to the backing, but I'm going to leave it a little opening to add the hearts, the filler. I'm going to leave that opening in the bottom, just because that way I can stitch around the top and create that heart attached to that backing. So I'll just take a couple of pins and place them on my heart to hold everything in place. And then I'll take my white thread, and since I'm going to leave the opening up top here, I'll start my stitches around here. I'm just going to make top stitches all the way around that heart. I'm stitching through the background, through the clear acetate, as well as that top layer of fabric. You can do any type of stitch you want. I'm just going to do a little running stitch here and stitch all the way around, leaving that little opening so that I can add my filler to that window. So I've stitched just a little running stitch outlining the heart, which is actually holding that clear plastic in place. It's making a little window. I'll flip it over. You can see the plastic here. So I want to make sure that I flip the plastic as well as the fabric opening. And now I want to just add some of these little confetti to that little pocket I made. And you can play around with how much you want to add. Since I didn't leave that pocket so open, I'll have to just play around, kind of force it in there. But it just takes a moment. I can always undo some stitches. And there I have a little bit of confetti right there. I love how that looks. I'm going to continue to stitch this closed, making sure all my confetti is inside of there. And if I wanted to add additional confetti or beads or something to that effect, little buttons, I could do that now as well. So now I have the beginning of my little shaker window here. I can play around and move that around. But now it's time to add my little slow stitching, just whatever stitches I want to add to my piece. I think I'm going to outline the entire rectangle, and I think I'll use maybe some red thread for that, and then maybe a few little stitches in here. So here I've stitched around it. I just did little seed stitches. I just think it looks really cute that way. You can add other things as well. I have this little lace. That's an option to add that to the bottom or maybe even the top. I just think that's really charming. But for now, I have this cute little shaker card Valentine. Let me just show you a little variation. So here's another one. It's a little bit larger than my one the size of a playing card. This is more of a greeting card size. And instead of filling it with these little pieces, if you don't have them, I just had some beads that I like that color, and I punched paper to make confetti. I added my lace trim, and then I stitched the word love. So it's a cute little trinket. You can leave this around the house for their loved one to find on Valentine's Day. Adorable.
So that's how I slow stitch a little shaker card. I think that little element, that little window with the little confetti inside of it is so unexpected. It's charming. I love it. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And thank you for joining me today.